Recently, we had the opportunity to go to the Beyond Van Gogh exhibit, and while the artwork was incredible, it was the frames. Those giant gold frames. Van Gogh said, "Great things are done by a series of small things brought together." We're going to make a series of small things brought together with the new IOD Frames Mold. I start with IOD air dry clay. Start by dusting the frame mold with cornstarch. This is going to help the air dry clay to release easier. Then take a little wad of air dry clay, soften it in your hands, and then press it into the mold. I remove the excess with my thumbs. I use a blade or a plastic card to take off the excess, using the micro rim as a guide so that you get a nice flat back. That little oval is actually inside of a larger rectangular frame. Just be sure to use the micro rim as a guide and then work from the inside edges of the sides of the frame mold to the outer corners to remove the excess and flatten the back. There are a few ways that you can apply your frames now. I'm going to let mine dry on their own overnight, but in order to minimize any warping, I just use blue tape and tape them to a surface. For my little gallery pieces, I used old cupboard doors. Glue the pieces in place and then paint over them with your favorite chalk style paint.
Appalachian sunrise meets my skin, even with my eyes still closed.
I followed a few tutorials and I just started creating my own Monet style water lilies.
Golden things.
You can use watercolors, acrylics, whatever you have on hand. I framed my entire gallery with gold frames. Use your favorite metallic paint and gilding wax to really give it some shine. I know exactly what you're thinking. I can't paint my own mini Monets. How am I going to create a mini Monet gallery? Well, I'm going to show you a really fun technique, and I'll have a few other ideas about how you can create your own mini art galleries with the IOD Frames Mold. I basically followed the same process, except this time I attached my molds while they were wet, and I let them dry completely. Then I apply a layer of chalk paint or your favorite paint. For this application, I used a metallic paint to paint my frames after they had dried on the board. I went on my computer and I created a whole sheet of these Monets. They're sized perfectly for the IOD frames. We're going to decoupage them into the frames and you'll have your own mini Monet art gallery. All you have to do is cut out your favorite little Monet.
Feet step over.
I sized these a little bit larger than the actual frame dimensions. Air dry clay, depending on the conditions in which it dries, is going to dry at a different rate or a different size. So I wanted to give you the flexibility of trimming these to the appropriate size. I really don't mind if they're a little bigger than the frame because I can always trim that away with a razor knife a little bit later on. And then using a decoupage medium, I'm going to give this a generous coating of my medium and apply my image. and I just press that down with my fingers.
I follow only golden.
Some of the frames have a curved top to them. I just work my fingers over my image, press out any creases, and make sure that I get right into the corner. Touch up any places that you need to with your metallic paint. When this is dry, I'm gonna wax the whole thing, or I can use a clear polyacrylic sealer. Really cool about this frames mold. You can put anything in them. You can put Van Gogh in them. You can put any of the old masters, as long as they're not copyright protected. So, have fun with it. You can even add bits and pieces of transfer, add your kids' artwork, pictures of your dog. You could even use images of actual photographs of your family. If you don't have a family, you can create one of your own. One of my favorite personal collections is a series of vintage Sunday paintings. They are portraits of women that were done in the mid-century. There's no known artist. A few of them are signed by a first name and a date, but the artist has gone unknown. So these images are ones that I created from my own collection. The originals are displayed in my home. I created my next mini gallery on a sample board that I had done of the Carrara marble stamp. In this case, I painted my frames ahead of time after they had dried, traced the inside of the frame, and then painted out that rectangle with white paint as a base. And using acrylic paints, I just started to very loosely paint in backgrounds. I sketched out a simple vase and blooms for placement.
When I think about yesterday, your smile.
And then used acrylic paints to create a very loose, impressionistic bouquet of flowers.
Last time stood still, I got the urge to steal a kiss, and so I did. Now I'm embarrassed, but just a little bit. Oh, there must be gold on those lips and honey on those fingertips.
Then glue your frames in place. Here's what's so much fun about these mini frames. You don't have to paint your own pictures. You can use old cards, washi tape, stickers, copies of old photographs. These are a collection of vintage Christmas cards. I've also formatted these on a single decoupage sheet in just the right size for your little frames.
Unbreakable. Oh, I can take it all. Wish me good luck. Give me.
These decoupage sheets and the IOD Frames Mold are available at our brick and mortar store or at lnjgoods.com. I've put all the links below in the description box. Love it if you would subscribe to L&J Goods here on YouTube, and in the comments below, let us know what you think of my mini art gallery project.